Now that we've covered how to use constants and cell references in a formula, let's talk about some of the other things you can use in a formula. Other than calculating with numbers and cell references, one of the more common things that people do with formulas is calculate around dates. So the question is, how do you calculate around a date? Well, in Excel, all dates starting from January 1st, 1900 have a serial number. January 1st, 1900 is serial number 1. January 2nd, 1900 is serial number 2, and so on and so forth. That means that every cell has an equivalent number value to it. The benefit of that is that you can actually do calculations with dates. Here's an example. I'll go ahead and type in January 1st, 2007 in this cell. Now I'm going to type in January 7, 2007. Now I'll just create a formula subtracting the two. Before we get to the results, you'll notice that I didn't move my mouse over to select the cell references with my mouse. I actually selected them using my arrow keys. When you're in a cell in edit mode, basically when you're able to edit the cell, you can actually select cell references simply by using your arrow keys. But back to this formula, I'm going to press the enter button. And the result I get is 6, meaning there are 6 days between January 1st and January 7th. That's about right. Here's another example. Let's find out what date it was 32 days ago. I'll start a formula here, equals, and I'm going to reference this cell. And again, I just referenced it by using the left arrow key, and I'm going to say subtract 32. So 32 days ago, it was 12/6/2006. You can also use text inside of your formulas. For example, I'm going to type in equals, and then I'm going to reference cell A3, and then I'm going to type in the ampersand, and then I'll type in quotes, space, potato, close the quotes, and press the enter key. So I have 1 potato. So let's talk about this formula real quick. First, I reference cell A3, which contains the number 1, and then I use an ampersand operator, which basically concatenates one string to another, or one value to another. So I've got 1, an ampersand operator, which is going to concatenate or connect that particular value to something, and then I've got in quotes, space, potato. Now this is fundamentally how you include text in your formulas. You'll wrap the text in quotes, meaning you'll have an open quote, the text, and a close quote. And again, I can copy this formula and paste it down a few times. And there you go. Now in the real world, most people use text in formulas in order to concatenate or bring together 2 pieces of text or 2 strings. So for example, I'll type in Alexander here, and I'll type in Michael here. And this is what you'll commonly see in a table. So for example, this would be last name, and then this would be first name. So I can come over here and say, I want a full name here, Michael Alexander, and what I'll do is build a formula and reference the first name first. And again, I reference that cell simply by pressing the left arrow key twice. And then I'll type the ampersand, which is the concatenation operator. I'll put quotes, space, quote. Now why did I do that? That's because I need a space between the first name and the last name. And the space is essentially text. So I'll need to wrap that in quotes. Next, I'll put another ampersand here because we want to concatenate or combine the previous 2 values with the next one that we're going to put in, which is the reference for cell G20, the last name. And you'll notice that I just typed G20. And again, this is just to show you that you can still edit your formulas by hand if you'd like. I'm going to press the enter key, and my 2 pieces of text are now put together.